It's an amazing day. Andrea M. Stuckey here, the divorce liberator and your favorite divorce coach, founder of the amazing community, Divorced Women Unite at divorcewomenunite.com. Listen, it's time for car talk again today. As I'm riding, I figure I'd come on in and share what's on my mind today, right? So today I want to talk about healing is an inside job. I've been talking about healing today on some of my other platforms, but it's so important. So important. And ultimately, healing is your responsibility, right? So when you've been hurt, when you've been betrayed, when you've been violated or mishandled in some way, healing your heart, healing your wounds is your responsibility. And it is an inside job, right? It's an inside job. And oftentimes I won't say we don't know that, but it's easier to shift the blame, right? Looking for an apology or looking for change behavior in someone else. And that someone else can be, it can be an ex-partner or ex-spouse, but it also can be a friend who, you feel betrayed you or mishandled you in some way, a parent, a family member, even your children, be honest with you, right? But to get that healing where you've been hurt, it's an inside job, and it really is your responsibility. And so what I see in my coaching practice very, very often, especially for us being Christians and believers and followers of Christ, we know the lingo, right? We know what, according to the Word of God, we should be doing in terms of forgiving and being kind and nice and all those things. And there's no, I'm not negating that at all. The Word of God is the authority. But what we have to understand is doing those things authentically is what is going to heal us, heal our hearts, and provide us with a much happier space in life. Right. And so unfortunately, we have many Christian women who've gone through separations, who've gone through divorce, whose hearts have been hurt. And this is men too, but my audience is women. Where we know what to say, we know what to do outwardly, but we haven't made the change inwardly. Right. And so many, many divorced women are still carrying around anger, hurt, betrayal, resentment, lack of trust, where they've been hurt so badly that they cannot trust anyone else. Listen, you can't move forward in friendships, life, and romantic relationships when you're afraid to trust, right? And you think that's a wall, you think that's a guard, but it hinders the relationship. You can't have a full, healthy relationship when you have walls up. When you don't trust your new partner, when you don't trust a new friend, when you don't trust, right? And you have to learn how to work through that. And so the first thing is you have to recognize that you have those negative feelings, whatever they may be. You have to recognize that. Yes, I'm still carrying anger. Yes, I'm still carrying resentment. Yes, I still feel betrayed. Yes, I feel very resentful to my ex, my family member, my friend, whatever the situation may be. You have to recognize that feeling is still there. That's the first thing. You've got to recognize it. The second thing is that you have to acknowledge it, which means that you have to feel it. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel that feeling, whatever that is. That's part of working through that negative emotion, right? Because we can't just continue to bury it and pretend it doesn't exist. And what happens is, this is what a lot of women and men do when they've been hurt. They bury it, right? And they don't think about it. They may shift their attention to something else and not address it, right? Which seems temporarily okay, right? So whether it's work all the time, whether it's jump into another relationship or multiple relationships, whether it's alcohol or drugs, 2 extra glasses of wine, whatever the situation may be. But listen, the hurt and the pain is still down on the inside. It's not going anywhere until you work through that. And you work through it by, number one, recognizing it. Number two, acknowledging and feeling that pain, right? And number 3, identifying where the pain came from, right? So actually identifying, hey, I'm angry because he left me. Hey, I'm angry because she said this to me and made me feel some kind of way. Whatever that is, identify it and call it out, right? Call it out for what it is. And sometimes when we have to call it out for what it is, it doesn't feel good, right? We're in denial. We don't want to say and I'm using myself as an example, right? Let me use the example I've been using all day is my first marriage, right? Where my ex-husband was unfaithful and it produced another child. That was extremely hurtful. But I had to call it out to what it was, that he lied. He was a liar, because all the things that went around that situation were lies, where I thought they were truths. I trusted him. Right now, working through and understanding that and healing from that allows me to go into other relationships trusting, right? But until you do that internal work and evaluate that situation, then you're going to be carrying that non-trust to every person that you meet. Every job, you're going to be suspicious. Every person that you meet on a date, you're going to, and I'm not saying you don't use wisdom. That's not what I'm talking about, right? I'm not saying you lay your whole life out to the first person that you meet. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that when you begin to get into a committed relationship, right, an exclusive relationship, if you want that relationship to grow, there is a level of vulnerability that is required. And that vulnerability is trust. Right? Trust, honesty, communication, and commitment in a relationship is necessary. Right? And so until you're able to do that and you get that way, and I'm just using that one emotion as an example, you have to work through it. Right? And then as you're working through it, you don't have to judge yourself for having anger, for having mistrust, for feeling sad. Whatever that emotion is that you're carrying, for feeling resentful. You don't have to judge yourself, right? You can acknowledge it, but non-judgmentally, right? Because a lot of times, especially from the Christian faith, and this is just true, it is what it is, I call it out when I see it, right? People in the faith can make you feel guilty, or attempt to make you feel guilty, or make you feel shameful for, poor choices, wrong, or mistakes that you've made, right? And so oftentimes, because of that, we judge ourselves, or how stupid I was to believe my ex-husband. I'll use myself as an example, right? How stupid I was to ignore that red flag. No, you ignored it. You believed it for a reason. And because of those reasons, when you unfold and unearth, if you will, those reasons, you can learn from it. You can grow from it. You can see things differently the next time around. Healing is an inside job, and it is your responsibility, and it is my responsibility to get the help that you need. And based on the hurt, will determine the type of help that you need, right? Because you have therapy, you have counseling, you have coaching, and they all have different roles. If it's super traumatic, that's your therapist that you need to talk to. If you want to move forward and, kind of uncover some things, but you're really focused on moving forward, that's me. I'm your girl. There's a little bit of an overlap, yes, but I stay in my lane. I'm not a therapist. I don't I can't diagnose you with clinical diagnosis and things of that nature. That is not my space. And so if I have clients that need therapy, I recommend them to therapy. I take what I do very seriously. I'm a responsible coach, right? So this is very important. Whatever you need, give it to yourself. Because listen, there is so much joy, there's so much happiness, there's so much freedom on the other side of healing. So much. I am a living witness. I went through 2 tumultuous divorces. I'm almost 12 years out of my second divorce. And I'm telling you, healing is amazing. It is amazing. And I want that for you. You don't have to continue to be stuck. You don't have to continue to be stagnant. You don't have to continue to feel like you're isolated from the world, right? But it is your responsibility to take that first step. It is your responsibility to ask God. Just pray. If you're a believer, ask God, hey, what direction should I take? I want some healing, right? And we don't have to, and I love the Lord, but I'm saying sometimes we can super spiritualize things. Real talk, right? And so if that's you, you know who I'm talking to. Get your help, get your healing, so that you can get your joy, your happiness, and your freedom back. I want that for you. So again, I'm Andrea M. Stuckey, the divorce liberator and your favorite divorce coach, coming to you live for this, quick little car talk here. And so I hope you receive something from it. So have a wonderful day. Listen, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share it out. Even if this isn't for you, there may be someone that you know who's still carrying that hurt, who's still carrying that bitterness, who's still carrying that judgment, and it's showing up on them on a regular basis. Go ahead and share this broadcast out. So listen, have a wonderful and blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.